if Sentry dies in Thunderbolts, I will not be watching Fantastic Four, and I probably won't watch any Marvel thing going forward. If we're going to kill him off in his first appearance, there's no reason to watch it. Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And today we are talking about the road to Doomsday. So we have now officially watched the first film of this that kicks off to Doomsday, Captain America, Brave New World. And now we are looking ahead to Doomsday. But first we have Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. So what are we thinking? Because I'm sensing some paranoia from Josh over there in particular.
I mean, hey, Cap 4, here's the issue, right? We were all excited for it, and then we kept seeing more and more about it, kept hearing more and more about it, and quickly became concerned, and it was a valid concern, as you saw my rage about the review of it. The issue I have now is that nothing's been established. There's really no team right now in the MCU. And my love for Cap just got absolutely killed from that last film, even though I'm really hoping for it. And listen, come on.
Don't say your love for Cap. Don't act like this is Cap's fault. Cap was the star of the show.
Listen.
Don't put this on Cap. He did nothing wrong.
But he was getting that Hulk treatment in his own movie somehow, even though his Hulk villains. Okay, I can ramble on that all the day. Okay, anyways, Fantastic Four, in my eyes, is the most important MCU movie in a hot minute. Because if that movie bombs, because it is the most established team we're going to get going into Doomsday, they're going to need to have amazing chemistry between those four characters for everything to work, to not have a shitty Avengers film. Because everybody else is going to be meeting for the first time, and we have no idea how many characters are going to even be in that. It's going to be a way bigger cast probably than the first OG Avengers film. So there's going to be so much pressure on the writing to get all these characters and actors to work well with each other in shitty green screen everywhere, because we know that's going to happen, because that's just how Disney does things now. So that it is so much, I think, in my opinion, on these four actors and the writers for Fantastic Four to nail it. And then now we're kind of hearing, Blakey told me that it might be a short-ass film. That's concerning, considering that is the last thing that we will get going into an Avengers film. Starting really, really the new era. Because Avenger films is what keep things going. And they have to hit on it. And everyone is constantly shaking because one is a hit and then one is a major failure. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm feeling concerned.
I mean, yeah, it's fair to say the road to Doomsday is going to be a bumpy ride. I think we all can just assume that. To carry on with that, I mean, it has been alleged that it came out that Fantastic Four is going to be roughly like an hour 37. Is a rumor going around. Now, I know there are some idiots out there who saw a different report that saw it was going to be like 2 hours, 20 minutes, and they were going crazy. But they are all dumb, as that website is, if you look for every movie coming up in the future, they put 2 hours, 20 minutes on every single movie. They did it with Superman Legacy. They have it with Jurassic Park. All of them say 220. That's just their placeholder. So those people are idiots who are out there like, oh, it's actually 220. It's like, no, that's a placeholder that website does for every single movie coming out. So as of now, the report still shows that it's expected to be like I said, like an hour 37, which, as you talked about, that is a short time to establish. We all know is a well-known group in the MCU. However, this is obviously their debut in the MCU, and it is the final movie, as of now at least, that leads into Doomsday. So you have to give us to care about these characters, and you have to give us something about Doomsday to get us excited for. I don't really know how... unless they're just banking on, like, hey, who cares? We're going to just not mention Doomsday until the post-credit scene. We're going to give you 1 second of Victor Von Doom, Robert Downey Jr., and that's going to be enough to hold you all over for a year, and then you'll be back for Doomsday. that could be their approach, I guess. But as of now, we have no projects. There are some TV shows, but none of them that stand out as like, okay, this is definitely going to give us some information. Like we got Loki. That was a TV show that actually gave us some information on Kang, both in season 1 and season 2. He had a big part of it. But there's no TV show that shows us anything of Victor Von Doom and how that's going to get us excited for Doomsday. So, yeah, I mean, for Captain America Brave New World to end with not even being brave saying Victor Von Doom or anything about him, to still be saying they are coming, it definitely doesn't feel like Thunderbolts either is going to give us a whole lot of kind of what the Doomsday movie is going to be like, or those the other Avenger movie is going to be. So, I mean, it really seems like it's up to Fantastic Four to get us that lead into Doomsday, and for it to be as short as it's supposed to be, that is definitely concerning to have us excited looking forward a whole year for the Doomsday movie following Fantastic Four in July.
Yeah, I saw that. He said an hour 37. I'm like, well, if you think about it, that's an hour 37, but that's like total of 10 minutes of credits. That means the movie itself is like an hour 20-ish. That's barely a concept at that point. Like, the fuck are we doing here? Like, that's crazy.
Like, it's like, I'm honestly kind of questioning going to the theater to see it in a way. Because I'm like, am I really going to go pay to go to the theater to watch an hour and a half long movie? I don't honestly think I am. There's legit concerns I don't go see this.
There's like shows that have like episodes that run close to that length.
Yeah,
if you think about it, they're like an hour and 5 minutes. That's only 10 minutes shorter than that whole. I'm
pretty sure the Peaky Blinders finale is an hour 20.
Dude, fucking Stranger Things. There's only a 2-hour episode, like a whole fucking film in there. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that you're gonna make a movie that's supposed to establish, like we've all mentioned, 4 characters now. Any Marvel fan kind of already knows them pretty well, but this is a new incarnation of these characters. These are going to be supposedly, again, we're not sure yet, but this is supposedly going to be our Fantastic Four for the future. And you're going to, I mean, I'm assuming if that's the case, they're just going to skip over their origin like really quick then.
They've already announced this is a different world. This isn't the 616 universe we watched, and this isn't going to be their origin story, as they've already talked about. Kind of like what the Batman did, where Matt Reeves was like, I don't need to give you the origin story of his parents dying and going through all this stuff. Like, everybody knows the character. They have announced that in this world, it's not the 616 world, the Fantastic Four are already an established group. So we're kind of just going to jump right in with them we don't know if this is kind of the peak of their still kind of a younger, maybe a little bit older. We're not sure where exactly it is, but yeah, they have already hinted and told us that this isn't like a full-on origin story. We're not going to start off without them having powers. I would assume, honestly, with it being an hour and a half, I would almost be surprised if the first scene of this movie isn't them in some kind of save or using their powers right off the bat, just to show us like right off the bat, like, yep, they have their powers, they know how to use them, they're already a team. I would imagine that's what the first scene of this movie is, honestly, with how short
probably.
It is.
I mean, yeah, but that's still. I feel like they're like Josh said, they really are going to be the only established team, unless by some miracle the Thunderbolts, either a few of them survive, none of them survive, or whatever. The survivors,
they're surviving. Come on.
Well, not. I don't think all of them
die.
Yeah,
well,
probably,
we know that.
Yeah. They might actually not die, but they're getting written off.
Yeah, no, Taskmaster, I think I've only seen her in like the same scene over and over again in every trailer, and you just don't see them again. Yeah,
she's dead. We all know Taskmaster's dead.
Bye.
Yeah, easily. But okay, so that still leaves Red Guardian, Super Soldier. You have Bucky, Super Soldier. And you have U.S. Agent, Super Soldier, and then Yelena Belova, which is a Black Widow. So that's your team that you're going to go with?
Okay, wow, that's crazy. We're going to skip over Ghost like that? No, that's fine.
No,
I mean, yeah.
Ghost is surviving.
Ghost is going to do one like cool move, and then's going to get like killed like Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. And it'll be like, oh, well, that death happened, huh?
Nah, see, actually, I was thinking it was going to be more like in the X-Men movie. what is it, X-Men Origins, where she's like time jumping, and then at one point Victor just turns and like catches him and catches the spine, and it's like, you're predictable. I'm expecting that possibly to happen to Ghost. Now, obviously not that graphic because it's Marvel and we can't do that, because why would they ever make their content a little bit more PG? But yeah, I'm expecting at some point Sentry just be like, you're too predictable, and then just like banish her to the void or shadow realm.
I guess Sentry could also technically be a good guy. Because
Sentry has to be a big. If Sentry dies in Thunderbolts, I will not be watching Fantastic Four, and I probably won't watch any Marvel thing going forward. If we're gonna kill him off in his first appearance, there's no reason to watch it. If Sentry dies in Thunderbolts, I will not be watching Fantastic Four, and I probably won't watch any Marvel thing going forward. If we're gonna kill him off in his first appearance, there's no reason to watch it.
Yeah, especially since he's like a Superman-esque character. Like,
well, here's the issue again, guys.
He's him,
right? Like, Blake, you enjoyed Cap 4 until I started ranting and bringing up the context of its impact to the MCU and everything else.
Yeah,
and
then that's how it pissed me off. Yeah,
and then the same thing with Fantastic Four. You know, I think our initial worries was the cast, and then after watching Gladiator 2, those worries for me are gone. I think this is a good cast. They look good. The suits look good. It looks like they're really going to give a damn. But then what's ruining and making me worried about the time is the context of the MCU and the next Avengers film. This film could be good, but I'm going to probably leave it mad. And they're just not landing the endings for the setups. And it's like, okay, guys, we also got to keep in mind, too, Secret Invasion has to somehow be relevant also in this project, and it's not at all. So where's Captain Marvel? How is she going to come back? She just going to randomly appear like fucking Endgame? And then once again, we're going to have an issue where a cool character and Brie Larson is going to be totally wasted, and we're going to all hate her again because it doesn't fit. Come on. In Endgame, she was not good. Just the random appearance.
Did you see Captain Marvel 2?
Of course he hasn't. No, he hasn't. You have not seen the Marvels. You have not seen the Marvels.
Did anyone see it?
Marvels?
Yep. Josh, Alex and I watched it. Yep.
Yep, right here.
Watch it together.
In that spot.
I watched the first one and I watched
together
the
strong.
show.
Yeah, we watched it. And actually, now I'm starting to think about
what
happens. Yeah.
Those characters.
One character.
Alex, did you see Miss Marvel?
I did, yes.
I watched that.
Yes,
me and you watched that together.
Yes, you guys watched it together, and then I ended up watching it after the fact. Yes.
Also, Miss Marvel does lead me to the point on the road to Doomsday. As far as it's been pretty much confirmed as they announced it, Secret Wars, Secret Invasions, whatever the Avengers movie is, Secret Wars, that is the end of the multiverse saga. As soon as that ends, we kick off the mutant saga. Marvel has been very adamant that we are going to kick off the mutant saga, and the mutants are going to become the forefront of it, which then makes us question, okay, we have to get Doomsday and Secret Wars has to wrap up the multiverse saga, which means if that wraps it up, the Fantastic Four, do we care about them? Do they make it out of both those movies? Because as soon as that ends, I'm pretty sure they've already announced that is the last one of phase, whatever we're in 5. And then right after that, we kick off the mutant saga, which then makes it Fantastic Four. Are they about to be irrelevant? Are all of those characters who aren't mutants about to be irrelevant? Where it's like, how much are we supposed to care about that? Because we're just going to get Doctor Doom show up for those 2 movies, and then all of them are gone potentially, and it's just a focus on mutants in the MCU.
I don't think they would do that, especially since they just got the rights back to Fantastic Four, and I guess also like the mutants and the X-Men. I feel like they wouldn't just make one movie and then put them in a team movie with Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, and then just not use them ever again. I feel like that. I don't think, one, it's not smart for them to do that financially. 2, it's one of their more popular teams. I mean, for the longest time, Fantastic Four was like the gold standard in terms of like the team. The Avengers were not the top Marvel team. It was X-Men and Fantastic Four. So those were your elite teams.
You got to think about it, though. That's going to be 3 movies with Fantastic Four.
I mean, but like
That's
I
three
said,
budgets funding that Fantastic Four cast. That also adds.
I mean, let's be
So
real.
that doesn't really
Joseph
matter.
Quinn ain't getting that much money being Human Torch.
No.
I don't remember his full name, but the guy playing Ben, the Thing,
Eben Moss Backrack.
he's not getting the bag to be the Thing. Let's be real. I mean, Vanessa Kirby, unfortunately, we know how Hollywood pays females. She's probably not getting all that much of a bag. So really, probably Pedro Pascal is, as far as we know, probably the one making a big dent. Other than that, I feel like they're probably getting the rest of them at kind of a discount.
Maybe, but I mean, I could see them only lasting three films. That's 3 films. That is
but that's not
full movies.
You could say the same thing about, like, you know, the Avengers characters. They got multiple of their own films, and then the team film, and then they also shared it along with the Guardians, along with, you know, Wakanda. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't think they would do that. Just give us one main title and then not have Fantastic Four lead another movie again. I feel like that's just not smart. Plus, I feel like they're too important to, like, that New York area, and a lot of the characters coming up are based out of New York. I mean, fucking the X Mansion is in upstate New York, so it's like, you know,
we've seen none of that matters. How many fight scenes have we seen in New York over the past 5 years, and we only see the character who's in it? We never see anybody show up. I mean, Hawkeye was based in New York.
And
Never once do we see a Spider-Man show up. I mean, we get so much content based in New York, and we never get somebody showing up to help out. I mean, hell, we got Bucky Barnes showing up in Captain America to be in the hospital with Sam, and Sam to tell him, like, oh, hey, this is what's happening. This guy's trying to start World War III. He's still out on the loose. Our president, by the way, something ain't right with him. And Bucky would be like, man, I got this stupid campaign trail. So, like, what, we're going to act like that matters, that all these characters are based in New York and we're going to see them? We haven't seen any crossover anytime when characters are in New York.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I mean, we're seeing, I think,
no one shows up.
Marvel spread itself way too thin, and we're seeing the consequences of those actions right now, the absolute most, because the MCU timeline context can ruin almost everything that's come out in, like, the last 3-4 years almost. Like, it's hard.
Took them a while to even mention the Celestial in the Indian Ocean.
Not to mention, also, while we're on the top, Thunderbolts is going to have their big fight scene in New York.
Oh, yeah.
We've already seen Sentry is in the new Avengers tower that's been taken over. Who, you want to bet money that nobody shows up to help the Thunderbolts in that fight in New York?
Probably not.
Exactly. None of that matters to them. Somehow, New York is, the second? Is it the first or second most populated city? It's also apparently roughly 70 billion miles long, because ain't nobody coming to help you if there's a fight in New York. If it's your movie, Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, Daredevil, matter.
I don't think they can technically use Spider-Man in, like, another, unless they have to literally make a contract with Sony to use him. So I don't expect them to use at least the live action version of Spider-Man in anything, unless there's been reports that, yeah, they signed a contract saying that they can have him in this movie as a cameo.
Sign a contract,
other than that, I don't expect Spider-Man. Now, as far as every other character that is already under the MCU's full control, that I can't say anything about, because, I mean, the fuck are we doing? Like, you have all the rights to these characters and you're not using them. Like, sure, if it's like a battle that's taking place underground or in a secluded area where no one's really knowing that this whole thing's going down, fine. But like Blake said, shit was going down in New York like twice already. I mean, fucking what's his face? Hawkeye was fighting Fisk and the Tracksuit Mafia, and the only thing that we got that was somewhat like, oh yeah, they're actually kind of referencing, or they're not even referencing, they're just showing the same kind of area, was in Spider-Man, like a few months later when he did his final swing. Other than that, nothing. Oh yeah, the Statue of Liberty being like torn down in that fight. No one's really mentioned it. I mean, I guess fucking She-Hulk mentioned it in like a little like newspaper clipping that the reconstruction of the Liberty statue is getting redone, and oh yeah, there's a fucking celestial in the ocean. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's what we're getting. We're just getting these little news clippings on a fucking iPad that you would have to literally pause the show to see, instead of them actually just like, oh, I don't know, talking about it. Like a big fucking celestial popped out of the ocean, and it took you 4 years to fucking mention it in like any sort of capacity. I mean, bro, yeah, I know that's like probably the most infuriating part about it, is that there's this big events or somewhat big events or even nationally televised stuff that is going down, and no one in the neighboring areas is like, this is not my movie, but maybe I should just, cameo and help just a little bit. I don't know. It looks like they're taking a beating. Like you said, Sentry is like a Marvel Superman, and you have a bunch of they say it in the fucking trailer. You have a bunch of super soldiers that can't fly, that can only punch and shoot, and you're having them fight a literal Superman, and you're telling me that no other Marvel hero, because these guys aren't technically heroes, they're like anti-heroes / villains, are not going to help them. I mean, I sure hope that they at least show like something. Like maybe they don't get to the fight, but maybe they're like, oh shit, something's going down, and they arrive at the end. It's just something, just so that we know, like, oh, they don't completely don't care.
Coming. No one's coming, bro.
Well, here's what I'll add to that is I think another thing, while we were talking, I kind of realized what's that missing element in this phase of Marvel versus the previous ones, and how they were kind of able to get away with having these already established, Avengers team not showing up when there's still solo films of each of the characters after those Avengers movies, is that either the event happened like that. So for context, Captain America Winter Soldier, the takeover of S.H.I.E.L.D. was immediate, and the only person in the immediate area to take it down. It all happened within like an hour, So it made a bit more sense, at least, that the Avengers didn't show up. And also the ones that would call the Avengers was S.H.I.E.L.D. anyways, right? Also, with Thor movies,
Off-world.
He's completely off-world, segregated away. Same with the Hulk, you know what I mean? Guardian of the Galaxy, they are way away. Those movies make sense to happen, that there's nobody else getting called in. So a lot of what works well is that those movies, even like Iron Man 3, if we even go back to that, I mean, it's just an Iron Man problem. There was not a need for the Avengers to come in.
It wasn't an Avengers level threat like Spider-Man mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. So, or even with the Spider-Man movies, even with those, like there was never really a level that too much needed to happen. It always was fast, instantaneous, and it happened. Well, you make a good point. Captain America, that was it literally World War is coming out right there, and Bucky kind of shows up. It's like, yeah, you got it, bro. So I think it really just adding to the context. MCU. I mean, that's just really my final rant, is that there really hasn't been a setup really too much for what we're about to get hit with, an Avengers film, and none of these characters are going to have chemistry, and there's just so much pressure on Fantastic Four to nail it and be the final film. And if it really does end up being true that it's that short of a runtime, I don't know how they're going to do it, because they've proven they can't.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that none of these characters have continuity with one another.
No,
they just don't, like what we mentioned in Captain America with the new Falcon. He didn't even get to be his partner in the show Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because it was Winter Soldier as like the 1-2 to Sam Wilson. Yes, he was in it, but he just had like a scene or two here and there. He never suited up. He wasn't building a rapport with fucking Sam. All of that happened off screen, and you're just gonna like expect us to like already jump in. You know what I mean? Like even Sam to Steve, They had that big run at the start of Winter Soldier. Over the course of the movie, he wasn't in that movie a lot, but they used him strategically because he was counseling these other people, and that's kind of Sam's thing. And then Steve would go watch him counsel these people, and then he needed his help, and he wasn't that big of a like a character in that movie. But you set him up there, then you set him up in the next film. He showed up as a cameo at the end of Age of Ultron, forming the new Avengers team, or the expanded Avengers team, should I say. And then slowly but surely, you just get more and more Sam, and you get that chemistry with him and Steve, something you just did not get with Joaquin and Sam. It's like, you got one scene, yeah, they work together, and that's about it. And then you just jump into the film already, like, he's his sidekick. Like, okay, cool.
Also, how many times are we going to rebuild the Avengers for it to go nowhere?
Yeah.
I mean, what? The end of Endgame, wasn't it? That we saw the whole new formed Avengers team? And that led nowhere. And then we saw the Young Avengers was being built up with Hawkeye's, taking over, helping Kate Bishop and all that stuff. I mean, we constantly get the new Avengers and the new Avenger. And then here we go. We get Captain America. I want you to rebuild the new Avengers. And then that ends. And he hints at, I'm building the new Avengers to Joaquin at the end. And then literally the trailer for Thunderbolts constantly says the Avengers aren't coming. It's like, okay, so that's not getting accomplished in between the two. It's like, how many times are we going to rebuild the Avengers? We're never going to get it.
Or not even rebuild them. Just say that we're going to do it, but we still don't do it. That's what
legit. How many times are we going to end with it being, I'm building a team or something for there to be no team?
Yeah, Cap needed to be way more of a setup film, and having at least one established character in this Earth to step up to then it make any sense of anyone forming up as a team. Because, I mean, now, we know that Fantastic Four is not even from that Earth. So it also makes you wonder, like, what were they going to do with Kang this whole time even? Because it really was kind of more setting up that Kang was just going to show up, and it was kind of be a little bit like Infinity War, where, like, maybe they were just going to fight on their own and then eventually team up. But with these movies coming out, you just really wonder, was Kang even going to be a mess too?
No, I think they just had to really pivot without Kang, and I think that has kind of thrown... I mean, we saw how much Kang was a part of Loki too, and then we saw how much Kang was a part of Quantumania, that I think that Kang had a pretty clear vision of him being slowly in things building up to it, and I think that kind of threw a wrench in things, and they kind of just have been panicking ever since. But I mean, I think, Alex, you brought up a good point though with Thunderbolts of how they're not even heroes, they're kind of anti-villains, or you know what I mean, anti-hero. If we need somebody to show up who fits that role of not really a hero, kind of anti-hero, who just recently got to New York, Tom Hardy's Venom. Eddie Brock just got to New York at the end of Venom 3.
Shut the fuck up.
All I'm saying is if Sentry's going to die, Tom Hardy's Venom killing him is the only acceptable, reasonable option.
He's not in the same universe, though.
End the video.
He was at one point, though.
Does that matter? No.
Matters to me.
Oh, man. Only if the Venom horse comes back.
All I'm saying. He fits the bill of who could come to help.
Oh, Lord.
I think they've been editing him out of the Thunderbolts trailers, to be honest.
True, yeah.
There have been scenes that I feel like Venom is lurking in the background.
You can see a shadow.
Yeah. The VFX has just taken him out.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems that the big thing here is that we're all saying we don't know how Doomsday and I guess then eventually Secret Wars is going to do with just the lack of continuity in terms of like the team part, the team aspect of it. And then just them constantly saying, we're going to build a team, or we need to build a team. And just, for whatever reason, the team, I guess maybe even Thunderbolts is going to do this. They literally said in the trailer, they're not coming. So they're trying to form this Dark Avengers team. And most of them, or a few of them are going to die. So, okay, cool. You're going to have maybe 3 or 4 characters with continuity, but you're going to shoehorn them in with Cap. You're going to shoehorn them in with
no, him and Bucky have a relationship, bro. Come on now.
With Bucky, Miss Marvel. I mean, that's who's left? Who's left?
What's Nick Fury been up to?
I don't know because I didn't watch Secret
Guardians? Will
Invasion.
that even happen?
No, because it's their Star-Lord.
No.
Star-Lord is the
Hell
only
no.
one that might come back.
Star-Lord's
That's it.
on Earth.
That's the only one.
Star-Lord is not coming back to anything. Come on now.
He's the only one that would come back.
Hey, he does look like he's slimmed down. Looks like he's super fit right now, Chris Pratt.
Yeah, he's getting ready for his crazy cameo in Jurassic World. Come on now.
Yeah, or another shitty Amazon movie.
Nah, bro, let him cook. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just very clear. The Road to Doomsday is not looking very promising. It looks like we're going to have 2 movies that are going to try to have to force excitement, and it looks like Thunderbolts isn't really going to touch on Doomsday. I mean, I've said this before. I personally think there's a 100% chance at least the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four will show some kind of Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom in it. They just have to. I mean, there's no way we get out of Fantastic Four and we don't at least finally get to see him, or at least hear his name, hear anything. They can't end Fantastic Four as vague as they did Brave New World and expect people to be okay with it. I mean, it's just, there's no way. They have to have some kind of build up to him, because I don't know how you go into this massive Avengers level threat movie and we're so all over the place with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just want to make this clear. I'm not saying that like each project has to like have this big impact on the future, but you know, I'm okay with them having their own creative freedom to make a good film from start to finish. But what I'm saying is, after a certain amount of time has passed, you know, where we have Phase 4, we have Phase 5, and none of these are really doing anything, even at the very end of like a post-credit scene to set up the big bad. That's the problem. I don't care that they're not showing him in the main fucking movie or mentioning him in the movie, because fine, you want to keep the creative integrity of each film, you know, to its own plot. Fine. It's just the ending where you're just like, you're not really giving us much to go on. Like, okay, yeah, someone's coming and we got to form a team. That's about as much as we've gotten over the last 4 years now. So that's my only issue. I don't mind that, you know, Cap is fighting Red Hulk, or, you know, Thunderbolts are fighting Sentry or his like dark half or whatever. Fine. I don't care that you're not mentioning Doctor Doom in the fucking story. He's not showing up in the main fucking movie. Just, it's the ending part that's like pissing me off. You know, you're not giving us much to go on. That's like my main gripe with it.
Yeah, and I'll just end with my absolute final note is that it just makes me sad that I've kind of said that, you know, I really wanted to actually see Thunderbolts. I was excited for Cap 4, and I want to be excited for Fantastic Four, and it just kind of sucks that the context is what is going to ruin it, and that just shouldn't be an issue. It's hard enough to make a good movie, and it's just crazy that good movies are going to get ruined by something outside of the film. And I want to like it. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting tough for Marvel because they are so all over the place. I mean, how many movies have ended with Sam Wilson? Captain America is rebuilding the Avengers. Somebody's rebuilding the Avengers, and then the next movie, nothing's related to it. Mm-hmm. We get an entire Captain America or Falcon and Winter Soldier of him and Bucky becoming so close, and then it ends. They're, you know, brothers. He's down with him in Louisiana. Then we get 2 movies coming out with those 2 guys starring, and they don't even interact. I mean, yes, we got Bucky come in, but it's like Bucky wasn't by his side helping him, and Sam's not going to be on his side. So it is like the context is just getting very sloppy with Marvel, and that's why I'm kind of like, yo, when they end Secret Wars, like, I'm fine if Secret War ends with just a massive bang and we just kill so many people off, and now we take over and it's only the mutant saga. Like, as much as I like some of these characters, just end it all. Only the mutant saga. Build that to actually have continuity. That's all that matters. Make it a whole new world. We're not in, 616 anymore. Make it, we're in their own world where none of the Avengers exist, and you only focus on that. We don't need you to work on a bunch of different projects that just aren't going to relate to each other, or you're going to act like they relate to each other and they really don't. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just think we're all in the same boat that we don't see this path to Doomsday being something to be super excited about, and there's a lot of pressure for the context of the MCU in the next two movies of Thunderbolts and mainly Fantastic Four. So that's kind of where Marvel is at the moment.
Which sucks.
That's where we are.
Like, they are capable of doing it. They do it in animation all the time. It's like, how can you do it in animation, but you can't do it in live action when you have the full rights to I guess, everyone minus Spider-Man? It's like, the fuck you doing? You know? Like, you have these big things going on in animation. You're doing it well. Like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have not seen Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus. I have. I actually enjoyed it as a Spider-Man fan. And you have all these characters coming in and out, and they know how to do it. They just can't do it in live action. They haven't done it well since the Infinity Saga. And that's what hurts the most, because you're like, the fuck are you guys doing? Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on where the MCU is, the road to Doomsday. Let us know down in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Are you, excited for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, or are you like us, where you're nervous and they kind of have a lot riding on them for the future of the MCU and our excitement for it? As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.